What's up guys, it's Will back again, and today's review is the 1999 drama film American Beauty. First requested to me by Fishcare101 and directed by Sam Mendes, American Beauty takes place in the 90s and primarily follows the Burnham family, who are all going through some sort of internal crisis. The daughter Jane is trying to fit in and find her identity, the father hates his job and is desperately seeking a purpose in his life, and the mother just needs a jolt of energy as her life has become overly mundane and monotonous. As each family member begins to drown in their own internal problems, they attempt to find new passions that will hopefully reinvigorate their lives with meaning. Alright, so it's been a long time since I've seen American Beauty. The film came out way back in 99, like I mentioned, which is 19 years ago now, and that's pretty crazy. And I was like 8 at the time. So I'm pretty sure I didn't watch it in 99 because my parents weren't that irresponsible, and they wouldn't have let me watch a movie like this with very mature content, I'd say. I think I watched it somewhere in the mid-2000s sometime. And when I watched it again recently, I enjoyed it a lot more this time, because this is definitely a film made by and for adults. There are a lot of adult themes, there's a lot of complex things to dissect here, and I think younger kids just aren't likely to fully appreciate the film and what it has to say. As a 26-year-old adult, I found American Beauty to be very uncomforting, yet a very captivating experience at the same time. I think a big reason American Beauty succeeds as a film is because it's thought-provoking. By taking characters that are by-the-books everyday people, with an exception or two of course, and having them make fairly immoral decisions to solve everyday problems is something that really had me thinking. It felt to me like the filmmakers were trying to depict the harsh realities of life and how the same monotonous routine can cause people to fall into a cycle of repetition and despair. I think this is most evident with Kevin Spacey and Annette Bening's characters. These two have a marriage that has become stale, and their lives have become so predictable that they feel like they have no purpose in life. Because of that, they naturally gravitate to the dysfunctional because their lives have become so ridiculously functional. It's weird to think about that, but that's what's going on here. American Beauty also has interesting things to say about beauty and acceptance as well. There's a few characters who are, in a way, polar opposites of each other. The best example of this would be the two high school friends, one of which is the daughter of Kevin Spacey and Annette Bening, Jane, and the other one is the aspiring model, Angela, who Kevin Spacey's character Lester becomes enamored with. Angela represents prototypical beauty, but beauty that exists at a superficial and surface level, beauty that fades in other words. Jane, on the other hand, represents a type of beauty that is not nearly as universally recognized. She represents more internal beauty, that offers more substance and longevity. The film tries to get you to think about beauty in different ways, and they do that by creating characters that represent different interpretations of beauty. It's certainly a film with a lot to say about that in that regard. There are times though when I feel like American Beauty gets a little too insightful for its own good in other words. I think this primarily happens through the character of Ricky played by Wes Bentley. He's sort of an unusual kid, but he just does weird shit sometimes. It's supposed to be insightful, but comes across as sort of silly, I'd say. Like, you guys know about the dancing bag scene, that's like one of the most iconic scenes in the movie, and that scene worked for me when I was younger, but when I watched it this time I was like, okay, this is just a little bit funny and weird, because if Ricky was my friend, I'd be like, dude, you need to get it together because you're being weird right now. But generally, I think American Beauty does hit the mark with what it's trying to say. It says a lot of things pretty effectively. A big reason I think it mostly works, though, is because the acting is great. I know Kevin Spacey is blacklisted right now because of the terrible things he likely did, but I will say that he's great in American Beauty. All the actors did a great job, but Kevin Spacey impressed me the most. He impressed me the most because his character had such a unique transformation. In the beginning, he's sort of this lifeless and stagnant figure that doesn't have much of a purpose in life. But later on, he simplifies his work life, he becomes more assertive, and he becomes grossly enamored with this high school-age girl. It's weird because this obsession gives him a purpose. It gives him focus and it provides him a jolt of energy that he just didn't have before. It's very dysfunctional, but it speaks a lot to how feelings of inadequacy can motivate us to be better at whatever we do. It can occasionally give us a purpose and a drive. I also like the visual experience that American Beauty offers. There's an approach that makes a lot of the scenes feel like fantasies or dream sequences, and this adds to this sort of unusual, unsettling almost style that this movie has to discussing the ideas it brings center stage. It's kind of weird, because it's sort of like the characters escape to another world entirely to get away from their lives in the real one. The characters all have vastly different interpretations of beauty, how life should be lived, and what's fair, of course, and a few of them sort of use those beliefs to create fantasies that mirror them. Because basically when you boil it all down, you have two families that are having internal struggles because the members within those two families have vastly different interpretations of morality, beauty, how life should be lived in general, and of course sexuality. When you think of it in those terms, American Beauty is sort of like an odd family drama that explores some very serious subject matter. With that said though, I did find the film to be a little too forceful in its ending. It didn't quite feel like the pieces fit together in a way that would allow that ending to make sense. It's crazy and it's certainly unexpected, but it didn't work for me because it just feels unsubstantiated. There's a few key decisions the characters make at the end that just don't feel like they align with what we know about the characters themselves already. I'm sure plenty of people will disagree with me on that because a lot of people love this movie, but that's just my read on it. As for the pros cons, I thought American Beauty had plenty of thought-provoking themes, fantastic acting, and a unique visual experience. As for the cons, I think the film can get a little too full of itself at times, and the ending didn't quite make sense for me. Regardless, I'm going to give American Beauty an 8 out of 10 and recommend you check this one out if you haven't already, if you're looking for a thought-provoking drama film. It's got plenty to think about after the credits roll. So have you guys seen American Beauty? What did you think of it? And if not, let me know why not. And if you have seen it, let me know what you think the film's trying to say. Also, don't forget that I have live streams scheduled at 8:30 p.m. every Wednesday night, and Sundays sometime in the morning sometime if you guys outside the US would like to see another one. Let me know what you guys think about that time and what you want to discuss and those kind of things. Either way, that's all for now though. This is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next review.